Listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us for the Permanent Supportive Housing Bonus Project webinar. I am Lauren Seeger, the Program Coordinator for the Chicago Alliance, and I will be hosting this webinar. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. If there's any problems, feel free to type in the chat box on the right-hand side, and I will try to fix any technical difficulties as quickly as possible. I also want to encourage the questions box as well on the right-hand side to type in any questions that you might have as we're going along on this webinar. And I have specific slides for breaks that I will try to answer all the questions that I have there as well as repeat them so we can all be on the same page. Okay, just to give a brief introduction of the Continuum of Care team, Lisa Mays-Lillig is the Vice President of the COC Programming in UFA. I'm the Program Coordinator, and my colleagues are Amanda Borda, who is also the Program Coordinator, Elizabeth Perez, who is the Program Associate, and we have a new COC Programming intern, Liz Weck. And we all participate in this department, and so if you have any questions, feel free to always contact one of us either by email or by phone, and I'll provide those informations shortly. So the objectives of this webinar is to just make sure everybody understands exactly what the Permanent Supportive Housing Bonus Project is, as well as the requirements and scoring for the project, and then finally how to successfully submit the application in Survey Gizmo. So a quick overview of exactly what the Permanent Supportive Housing Bonus Project, what it is. Well, I think it's important first to know why it's there. So ending chronic homelessness was the first major goal outlined in Opening Doors, and it had the goal of being accomplished by 2015. And so due to insufficient appropriations and lack of targeting on local levels across the United States, that goal has been extended to 2016. And so in order to make significant progress towards that goal of ending chronic homelessness by 2016, HUD has set aside $40 million towards a new bonus project to put more units online of housing. So the bonus project is kind of outlined in a few, I guess, bullet points. So each continuum of care can only endorse one project. So the Chicago COC has one project they can endorse, and that project can be up to $8.34 million. And that number is 15% of Chicago's annual renewal demand. And I've put that number of 55.6 million approximately of what that number is. So that up that 8.34 million can be in 1, 2, or 3-year grant terms, and it's exclusively serving chronically homeless households, and those can be individuals or families or both. It's only towards permanent supportive housing, and because of the scope of this project, collaborative applications are strongly encouraged. The selection process, all of the applications are due through Survey Gizmo online on Monday, October 6th at 5 p.m. No late submissions will be accepted after that time. Once all of the applications are organized, they will be reviewed by the new project selection panel. And from there, the new project selection panel will ask for in-person presentations of the project proposal to learn more about what this proposed project may look like. The Alliance staff will work with the finalists to complete the bonus project application in eSnaps once that has been selected. And I have put up the timeline just so everybody can kind of see it is a really quick turnaround time. So the applications are due on Monday, October 6th, and by the end of the week, that Friday is the estimated date of the new project selection panel decision of what project to endorse for the bonus project. The eSNAPS project application for that will be due on Friday, October 17th, so the following week. And the full COC application, everything is due by October 30th. So again, it is a really fast turnaround times for each step in this process. So the bonus project has a couple of threshold requirements that I just want to outline. The first being in the application that no less than 70% of the total funding for leasing, rental assistance, or operations costs can be used, and then no more than 30% for supportive service costs. And I think that it's really important to note that there are restrictions on what is HUD funded for those supportive service costs. So those are limited to assistance with moving costs, case management, food, housing, search and counseling services, life skills, outreach services, transportation, and utility costs. And those are all outlined again in the NOFA, which I'll talk about later on. But just note that there are restrictions on what is eligible to be HUD funded. Additionally, if awarded the bonus project, the project must be ready to house the first program participant within 6 months of the award. It's also required for participation in the central referral system, since we will be pulling chronically homeless individuals off that list to fill the positions in the open units. The utilization of Housing First model, use of HMIS to capture client information, and alignment within the Chicago Programs Model Chart and Chicago's Plan 2.0. In addition to those, HUD has outlined their own threshold requirements for this bonus project. Each one of these bullet points is worth up to 1 point for HUD, and you must get at least 5 points from this list in order to be eligible to move forward. And so those would be the type, scale, and location of housing to fit the needs of the participant, as well as the supportive services and how those will be delivered to the participants and if it meets their needs. Another is planning to ensure participants will be assessed for mainstream benefits, particularly around health, social, and employment programs that they're eligible for. Participants are assisted to obtain and remain in permanent housing, as well as increase their income and live independently using those mainstream housing and service programs. And at least 75% of the proposed participants come from the street or other locations not meant for human habitation, emergency shelters, or safe havens. Finally, that amenities are accessible within the community. So the bonus project, HUD has a scoring criteria that they have outlined that they are looking for to move projects forward and to grant funding. So the COC need is a score that was configured for all the continua across the U.S., and the relative need score is based on the number of chronically homeless individuals reported in the 2013 PIC, the number of dedicated PSH beds available for use by chronically homeless that were reported in the PIC, and the extent of which the continuum of care has prioritized existing permanent supportive housing beds or units for the chronically homeless. So all of those, and you can look at all the continuous kind of scoring for this section. The highest that you could get was 60 points, and Chicago scored 30 points, and so it was deemed that there's a medium relative need. In addition to that kind of 60 points, which was based on the COC need, there's going to be scoring for the project quality up to 40 points, and it's broken down into a few sections. One is prioritizing the highest need, and that is you can get up to 10 points. And to receive maximum points, the applicant needs to describe the current system used to determine vulnerable populations within the community, as well as how is it's prioritizing the severity of those needs and meeting the needs. In addition, it needs to also discuss the current street and shelter outreach system within the community. Another point is Housing First, which is also scored up to 10 points. And to get full points, the applicant needs to talk about the experience in operating a successful Housing First program. Mainstream resources is a really huge part. It's 10 points, but it's really talking about how to engage individuals in Medicaid. So mainstream resources is, again, up to 10 points, and it's 5 points for each of these bullet points. It's kind of split in half. So 1 point is clarification of a system for identifying and enrolling Medicaid eligible participants, and then how the project includes Medicaid finance services. Leveraging is up to 5 points, and to get all 5 points, the applicant needs to demonstrate that there is a cash or in-kind match of at least 200%. So for this full amount of $8.34 million, that 200% would be $16.7 million. And lastly, 5 points is awarded based on the FY2013, FY2014 COC application score. And at this moment, those scores have not been released, but that will be communicated as soon as possible once those are released. So I just want to stop there and respond to any questions around just the thresholds and scoring and really what HUD is looking for. I just want to make sure it's important to note that all of the scoring for the points as well as the HUD thresholds needs to be clearly outlined in the narratives. And that's something that the new project selection panel will be looking for, as well as HUD once we submit one application. So are there any questions? I will see if you just want to put in the chat box or the questions. If not now, I can definitely respond later on. And I'm not seeing anything at the moment. Okay, great. I will move on. So the application is all online this year. It's going to be through Survey Gizmo, which you might be familiar with because that's the same format that the evaluation instrument was hosted on. And it's broken up into a section for general information and then as well as sections for 4 different narratives and then attachments. So at the beginning, the general information are just basic text boxes that ask contact information, the collaborative agencies, if any, the total HUD money requested, the grant term, projected number of units, the target populations, and the geography of this project. And so that's pretty self-explanatory. It's text boxes and check boxes that just you can fill out according to your proposal. Then there are sections for each narrative that you can upload around the population being served, the service delivery methods, organizational and fiscal capacity, and then the readiness to proceed. And so for each one of those sections, there is a narrative required and additional questions for those that you'll be able to upload. There's also an attachment section, and that requires 2 reference letters from either individuals or agencies that are outside of the agency. Agency policies, so some examples that are listed are the eligibility requirements, client rights, program termination, and things of that nature. Additionally, an agency audit within 9 months of the end of the fiscal year, and financial forms such as the federal tax return, 941 and 990 forms. There is also a budget spreadsheet that can be uploaded, and I've done a screenshot of what that looks like. It's an Excel spreadsheet, and there are tabs at the bottom that basically allow the applicant to kind of visualize and put a spreadsheet together of what this project looks like financially. So as you can see, there's the section for leasing and rental assistance, service dollars, operations, HMIS, and then a project summary that kind of gives an outline. And all of this can be found on our website. It was all emailed out, but they've also been posted to the website, and I'll talk about that more where you can find it. So the spots where you can actually upload attachments are kind of in 2 different buttons that you can click on. So one would be you would first go to Browse, and that will just open up all the files in your computer, and you can find the narrative that you're looking for. So preferably it'd be in PDF, but you can also upload Word documents. In order to, once you have found the document that you want to upload, then you would click here to upload file. And then once that's uploaded, it's going to be in a gray bar. It's going to say file and then your file name. And so this is an example of kind of what that looks like at the bottom and what those kind of gray buttons that you click on look like, so you can make sure. Again, if you accidentally upload the wrong one, just X out of it and do the whole process over again, and you'll be able to correct that. So some submission tips that we have. Again, all of this information is on our website, as well as a PDF of what the entire application looks like. So you can look at that ahead of time and kind of prepare your narratives as you're going, and then upload everything at the same time once you're in Survey Gizmo, so you don't have to keep going back and forth. If you go to our homepage, which is allchicago.org, and you hover over the Who We Are section at the very top, a drop-down box will come down of different sections to look at. And if you hover over Chicago Alliance, another bar will come aside. And if you highlight COC funded projects, it will be on that page, and all of the links to resources that I'll discuss later, this webinar, and all of the attachments, such as the budget spreadsheet, can be found there to work on. So another strong tip is just to please review any of your work before submitting them. You'll have a chance to download all the PDFs so you can see exactly what documents you're attaching, so you can catch any mistakes before you send that. And just to highlight that all submissions are final. Once you submit your bonus project application, you will receive a confirmation email, and this just confirms that you have sent that and we have received it. If you send it and you don't, please contact me or one of my colleagues at the Chicago Alliance, and we will look into that to make sure that there wasn't any technical glitch, and just to make sure we received everything on our end too. Again, the bonus project application is due online no later than 5 p.m. on Friday, October 6th. And so there are some resources that we have identified that will be helpful when you're looking at the application to just move forward, or just give a better sense of maybe how some of the questions are being asked. So again, the Chicago Alliance website is where all the materials are listed. We really strongly encourage to read the most recent NOFA that is out, because it outlines a lot of the information that I covered, as well as might be able to answer more detailed questions. So we strongly encourage you read that. Additionally, there are guides for eSnaps and instructional guides for the new project application and budget information. This is actually how to fill it out in eSnaps, but it will also give guidance on kind of what is acceptable to have and what is not. It might just give you a good overview and familiarize yourself with what that process looks like. And you only need to submit an eSnaps or move forward in that if you are selected as the finalist from the Chicago Continuum. So I put that on there just as something that I found helpful in moving forward this and learning more about the new project applications. So I noticed that I have a question, and I just want to let anybody else, if they have questions, have an opportunity to type that in and have me look at it. So one is, okay. Let's see. Yes. So the question is, only one grant will be awarded. And so the answer is yes, only one application can go forward, but an application does not mean that the money will be awarded. That is something that the Chicago Alliance can only submit one application to move forward to HUD. Again, it has to meet all of those requirements, and it has to score highly enough. And so again, it is not a guaranteed it's not a guaranteed award that anybody will receive. So yes, so the next question is, will one agency be awarded the $8 million? So yes, one application will be awarded up to $8.34 million for this permanent supportive housing bonus projects, but there can be many agencies that are collaborating within this project. Okay, the next question is, since the match is 200%, is there a ready pool of foundations who would help with this match? And I think that would be a question that whatever the applicant or people that are projecting or predicting the project work together, kind of have a conversation around what that looks like, because 200% is a very high match, and so I think that that's something that definitely would need to be discussed between the agency submitting the application, and if there are any other agencies collaborating with that, maybe what that 200% looks like, and maybe the strategy to obtain it. How many agencies are on this call? I have that answer, but I don't have it at the moment because it's on a separate screen. So I want to say that there's 17 individuals on the call. I'm sure some of them are multiple from the same agency. Okay, another question is there a preference for using all of the funding in 1 year or to spread it out across 3? And I think that really just is up to the applicant. There's no preference outlined in the NOFA or expressed by HUD. So I think that's really just a strategy to think about and planning to think about on the agency applying, and those in collaboration for what that project will look like and what is a realistic scope to work within. Okay. So the final question is there a problem if any of the collaborating organizations, especially the lead agency, has applied for a new project already? And that is no. There is not any problem if there's already been an application submitted for new projects. Okay, I think, let's see. Oh, I think I might have one more. Okay, is purchasing or leasing electronic health record software an allowable operating expense? And for that, I don't have an answer for. It wasn't specifically outlined in the NOFA, so that's something that I would review. And for the person asking the question, I can talk more with you offline after this webinar about kind of how to move forward and how we can make sure that question gets answered. I will recommend checking with local HUD to see if they have that answer for you as well, or they can look into it. Okay. All right. Oh, sorry, one last one. Do you need to be a current permanent supportive housing program to apply for the bonus project? And the answer is yes, because a lot of the narratives and a lot of what HUD is looking for is previous experience operating a permanent supportive housing program with some of those qualifying models such as Housing First and whatnot. So yes, that agency that is the lead would need to. So that is all the questions I have so far. I will, of course, happily answer anything after this webinar if you have it. You can email cocprograms@allchicago.org. You can also call me at that phone number, 312-379-0301, and I am extension 35, and I would be happy to answer anything or as well as look into anything or connect you to the right people to talk to. And there, as always, you can email the HMIS help desk if you need any assistance pulling data for your bonus project application. So with that, thank you so much for joining. And again, feel free to contact if you have any questions about the bonus project for permanent supportive housing. Thank you so much.